Hello everyone, my name is Talal, and today I wanted to talk about the big elephant in the room, which is the Russian Ukrainian war. The West has this fake narrative that, Russia is just a big bully, it wants to take all over, like, destroy Ukraine, that everything about Russia is evil. It's kind of childish, it's kind of like a cartoon. And that's not how the world works. America specifically and the West know exactly well that that is a security threat for them. And that since Russia is some type of a regional power, in the world, I wouldn't call it a global power, but it kind of is a global power. But I'm not going to get into the details right now. But the point is, it has one of the strongest militaries in the world. It's the second after the U.S. It has the most nuclear weapons in the world. It's the largest gas producer. It's the largest wheat producer in the world. So it does have a lot of saying in the global economy, whether we like it or not. Emotions set aside, Russia is an important country. And Ukraine having weapons and being part of a NATO, of course the Russian leadership, even if Putin wasn't in office, of course the Russian leadership is not going to accept that because you've surrounded Russia on all sides with NATO. You keep saying it's defensive, but you keep expanding your borders on every part of the globe. So, for example, in Libya, when NATO was bombing Libya, Libya is not a part of NATO. And what do you have to do with that region? Like, why are you like constantly sticking your nose to every part of the globe? And the idea that the Russian leadership would just stand by while you surround them in every single corner is ridiculous. Now, it doesn't mean that the Russian leadership is good or bad. Of course not. It doesn't mean that they're great and they're angels. Of course not. Of course they have power, they have influence, they have ambitions, they want to take over territory. That's just the name of the game, unfortunately. That's how life is. And the Americans and the West know this. They could have easily stopped this war. They could have negotiated with them. We're like, okay, Ukraine won't be a part of NATO. Like it was. It's not a part of NATO, but it's not a part of Russia. It's a mix between both. They have great relations with the EU and the United States, but at the same time they have great relations with Russia, China, and other countries. And that's like the best policy to have anyways. Why would you just want to be part of one economic or political group? Why don't you be part of multiple economic and political groups where you can benefit from all? You get manufacturing and items from China and Asia, you get raw materials from Russia, even military intelligence, security, uh, assistance. You deal with the Americans with certain technologies and certain that makes perfect sense. You have a lot of European like investments and customers, and you get tourism from Europe. Like, why would you forego everything just to be part of NATO? So you're gonna reject all of Asia and China. You're gonna reject Russia. You're gonna reject Africa. You're gonna reject everything and just be a part of NATO. That doesn't make any sense, even from a strategic point of view. And when you realize this, you realize all this thing is just about Western domination. The West realizes they're losing control in the world because of the rise of China and the rise of India and the rise of Islamic powers like Turkey and Iran. And I can go on and on and on. They're just not willing to accept reality for what it is. So, in my opinion, what should have happened is Ukraine should not be a part of Russia nor a part of NATO. Ukraine should just be neutral. Should do business with all sides. It shouldn't take sides. Why does it have to be a part of NATO? That's just calling for trouble. You're on the border of one of the largest, most powerful countries on earth called Russia, and you want to join NATO. What kind of message are you sending Russia? If you're a leader, if you're a government person and you're in Russia, how else are you going to take it as this besides you trying to, like, other countries trying to threaten you, trying to box you, trying to surround you on all the borders? There's no other way to look at it. And yet the West continues to act stupid and pretends like they're innocent, even though they're not. They they are the warmongers. They are the people who create wars all over the world. Again, it doesn't mean that Russia is a great government or it has a great system. Russia has a lot of problems internally and their society, and even with the government structure, and even with their history. They have a bloody history as well. But that does not change the fact that NATO wants to control Russia, wants to weaken Russia, wants to destroy it as a state. And that's what they want to do with China, with Iran, with many of these countries.